So what we're looking for then is a road in England, in this area where they originated, and it is Travone Road near the small town of Padstow in the United Kingdom, Cornwall. The distance is 10,772.6 miles. That's how many days old, or days of duration, between the beheading of Charles I and my birth. 107726 days. And that is the diagonal of the pyramid with the 144,000 in place, missing capstones. I should mention that I haven't told Stephen who he is, because they've got to come to this understanding themselves by being prompted by angels. So there's the word there, 12:12, Revelation 12:12, and it's evident, manifest, certain. Here it is in England, and we're going to zoom in on that. So there is the most northern point of Travone Road in England. And that's where it goes to, 7 Travone Street, Padstow, 10,772.6 miles. There's the insert to the right showing the line across the heads, which points directly to 7 Travone Street, Padstow, the house that my brother and I and my sister inherited of my father. Distance is 17.4 kilometres, and we know exactly what it's pointing to by the bearing. Now you see where I've got 888 miles at the bottom there and 105. That's where I was reborn. 105, which is eagle in Greek, and it points to Eagles Road, North and South Eagles Road, with a round trip of 888 miles in Harcourt. And it is exactly the same point. So if you take the line from the sword across Sydney Heads, it points to the area of Harcourt, which is a round trip of 888 miles in Victoria from New South Wales. To the left there, the 2 green lines is the north and south part of Eagles Road. And I've placed the small insert to the top right showing the angle is exactly the same. So there's a little bit more information about it. 174 is from 173 Thorney, off Thorns. When I lived in Sydney some years ago, I lived at 174 President Avenue. That was in 1987. 1988, rather. Now the last of the family to live with my father was Stephen, because he had moved from Melbourne after his brother had got shot, and he was in fearing that he might get shot himself. So, and rightfully so, they would have killed him if they could have. So the last male adult looking after my father was my nephew Stephen. This shows you where the Holy City is going to be declared this week, and how it lines up with the Padstow address. There's the diagonal of the Great Pyramid. The actual pyramid is slightly out of square one side is diagonal is 1077.26 and the other diagonal is slightly less than it. He was born on January the 27th, 1963. As said, I was at his birth. My brother, who was in a motel with his girlfriend, his father, is 8.88 years older than I. So we've got 313 years from death to rebirth, and it is the word beget, bear again. 1080 is to genealogy. Now this was verses that were very, very familiar to the king. These people in those days, of course, lived. He occupied the throne. He was anointed upon the rock of the Scone, which had been stolen by Edward I in July the 4th in 1296. Now Stephen will be 49.9011 years old on December the 21st, 2012. That's when we cross over into the northern hemisphere of the Milky Way galaxy. And 4990 is a deliverer, God or Christ the Saviour. And in Acts 22:20, and when the blood of thy martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by and consenting unto his death. Now this is Paul, the false apostle, and that's what dominates the New Testament, and that's why it's all evil. Now in 1997 I finished, or helped Stephen finish off his the siding on his house. He lives on a 55.5 acre farm in Lau Lau, Victoria. And I told him to go measure it because everything he does is divine, because he thought I was full of crap. But one night he snuck out and measured it. And it turns out to be 22 feet 2 inches wide. It's actually 22 feet 2.2 inches wide. Now, like all youngsters or young people, they are bemused, and they don't listen to their, especially the older relatives in the family. So he thought I was a bit of a dickhead. So he made plans to travel to Morocco, and I told him, don't get involved in anything illegal over there because I'll put you away forever. So when he was coming back, he got arrested smuggling drugs. He had been doped up in a brothel in Amsterdam. And next thing, sin begets sin, doesn't it? So he was locked up. He was arrested on May the 11th, the same date I had left Australia 10 years prior. I'd met Michelle on that same date 2 years before he was arrested. He found a book in the library, and it was on page 222. The word truth and wisdom are both found individually, 222 verses of the New and Old Testament combined, 1611 King James only. You won't find it in the more recent updates. He was 36.28 years of age. Pity, mercy, and the word prison. I haven't showed him any of this, by the way. Now his mother is 9.42 years older than I. There are 942 verses in the New Testament with the name Jesus. She of course thinks I'm nuts as well. And Michelle is 1162.6 days younger than I. Her youngest daughter is 11.626 years younger than my eldest, Tracy Lee. And I was married when I was 1162.6 weeks of age when I married my daughter's mother. That is the antechamber 116.26. If you take the 5813 number, which is the distance to the wall from the king's coffer, times 2, it gives you the same number, but 5813 is the height of the finished pyramid in pyramid inches, and that is the distance to this house from the South Pole in kilometres, 5813 kilometres.